curious little champions. I hope that you are doing amazing and I welcome you all to PU2 Brahmastra series. So today we are going to talk about reproductive health. Now today is day 34 and I have always recommended that basically if you're someone who have already done with human reproduction, this chapter becomes a lot more easy. Like it's a piece of cake for you then. Okay. And even if you have not done, then also it will be really easy. But I would say better understanding of this chapter, you would be getting that only when you are very thorough with human reproduction. And this chapter holds how many marks, my dear children? It holds 6 marks, which is not a small deal. 6 marks are really important, right? So yes, there are 3 blueprints, and according to 3 blueprints, there are different marking schemes as well. According to blueprint 1, there will be 1 1-marker question, 1 2-marker question and 1 3-marker question, giving you a total of 6 marks. According to blueprint 2, there will be 3 1-marker question, there will be 1 3-marker question, and according to blueprint 3, there will be 2 1-marker question, there will be 2 2-marker question. So you can see there are no 5-marker questions coming from this particular chapter. So basically you should be thorough with the small concepts, okay, that would be giving you scores in this particular sessions. Works. Chalo. And now, so there is PU2 Success Blueprint test series that is going to happen from 15th of December 2024. So if you are someone who have not enrolled into it, I definitely recommend you to enroll. Okay, the payment for this is just ₹599 rupees, and over here we will be providing you 12 mock tests. Okay, and apart from 12 mock tests, the question papers, we will be providing you the video solutions as well, and probably you might be there might be certain videos that would be reaching you earlier than the others. Okay, certain general videos also that might be reaching earlier to you guys than others. Okay, so take utilization of this. The link to this is given in the description box. You can click on that. Chalo, let's begin. The number of questions that I have included here, since you saw everywhere that there were so many 1-marker questions, so I have included 17 of them over here. There will be 4 2-marker questions, there will be 3 3-marker questions, so I have included the most repeated ones, so you would be seeing all of them over here. So starting with the first question that we have. Out of the options given below, choose the correct stage for transfer to the fallopian tube for successful IVF result. They are asking you that you have to choose in which stage. In which stage will you transfer what, children? You will transfer embryo. Inside what? Inside the fallopian tube. During a procedure that is known as IVF, in vitro fertilization, not intra, in vitro fertilization. That means fertilization in the laboratory condition. So this here fertilization is not happening inside the body of the female. Instead, in the laboratory condition, egg and the sperm is made to fuse, and then the zygote is made, and the zygote transforms into embryo. Now, zygote is single-celled, embryo is multicellular. Okay, so from 2 stage only we say that's an embryo. Now, embryo are different types. Okay, some have 8 cells, some have 16 cells, some have 32 cells. So things like that. What do you call these cells in an embryo? For example, this is an embryo that is having 2 cells. What do you call these cells as? You call them as blastomeres. So they are asking you, in which stage of the embryo will you be putting the embryo in the fallopian tube during IVF? So if you are putting in the fallopian tube, the embryo should be up to 8 blastomeres, not more than that. Up to what? 8 blastomeres, not more than that. Okay, so if it is more than that, then you directly recommend that, okay, probably it can be going up to 16 blastomeres also, okay, but still it is kind of a safe zone. Now listen to me, why in the fallopian tube you are putting 8? Because from the fallopian tube the embryo will divide further and then slowly move into the uterus by itself. You don't need to do that. Okay, but if you are putting an embryo which is having 32 blastomeres into the fallopian tube, then that is a problem, because the embryo might develop there and it might lead to ectopic pregnancy. That means pregnancy in different areas apart from the uterus. We do not want that implantation to happen anywhere else apart from the uterus. So these the embryo itself, it will roll down, okay, and that's not a problem that is going to happen. So it's kind of safe zone to put the embryo which is up to 8 blastomere stage into the fallopian tube rather than the other ones. Good? Works? Just give me a second. Now next question. Sperms produced by the seminiferous tubules are transported through accessory ducts. Which duct should be tied and cut for male sterilization. What do you mean by sterilization? Basically, you are making the male sterile. That means he would not be producing sperm in the semen. So there won't be sperm in the semen. If sperm is not there, can fertilization take place? No. So can they produce fertile offspring? No. So this is sterility, male sterility. Okay, I am basically not wanting to have sperm, okay, in the semen which is going to be produced. So semen still it is going to be produced, it will just having these secretions from the accessory glands. You know, there are glands also. So these glands will be secreting certain secretions, okay, that will be there in the semen, but sperms would not be there. So we have to block the transport of sperm. We are not blocking the formation of sperm. Okay, sperm formation still takes place inside what? The testis. Inside the testis you have testicular lobules, my dear children. Inside each testicular lobule, you will be having seminiferous tubules. Okay, and here the sperms are being made. Now this is being transported with the help of something that is known as accessory ducts. So there are different accessory ducts. One is rated testis. From rated testis, things move out with the help of vasa efferentia. From vasa efferentia, it makes a coiled-like structure which is known as epididymis. From epididymis, it will take towards the urinary bladder. Okay, so testis is outside the abdominal cavity. Now you have to take it to the abdominal cavity. Okay, so who is this guy? This is vas deferens. Now this is the accessory ducts which would be transporting things directly, okay, or not basically directly, it would be indirectly transporting things to the penis, which is the male external genital organ. In between that, lot of things come, but over here, if we want the transportation to be stopped, we have to block the road, and you block the road over here. You cut the vas deferens in the case of males, which is why this particular procedure is known as vasectomy. Okay, what do you call it? You call it vasectomy because you're going to cut it over here. Now sperms, would it be made? Yes, it would be made. But will it be transported, children? It would not be transported. So will that person produce semen? I am going to explain you certain concepts also. Will that person produce semen? Yes. Okay, he will be producing semen, but in that semen, will you find sperm? No, you would not be finding sperm. Ma'am, semen means sperm? No, no. Semen means sperm plus, what do you call it? Seminal plasma. What is seminal plasma? So there are 3 different accessory glands which gives out its secretion to the sperm. Okay, usually it gives out its secretion to the sperm so that sperm have good energy and stuff like that. But now the poor glands do not know, the sperm are not there. Still, they will be releasing their secretion, which is known as seminal plasma. So this semen, there will be only seminal plasma, there won't be sperm. Okay, this is a question that usually comes. Be aware of that question. So for male sterilization, you have to cut what? Vas deferens. Works. So next one. Reasons for human population explosion are given below. Okay, select the correct answer statements from the options given below. Chalo, human population explosion, as in basically the population is growing way too much. Okay, so reasons for that is given over here. You have to choose which one would be the actual one. Okay, just imagine we have to increase the population. We have to increase the population. So anything that helps in increment comes under a reason. So rapid decline in maternal mortality rate. Maternal mortality means death rate of mothers. So rapid decline is there. Not much mothers are dying. Okay, so that's a good thing. Obviously, the population would be increasing because of that. Rapid decline in infant mortality rate. That means the babies which are being formed, they are also dying less. There is a decline in that, in their mortality. Mortality means death rate. Okay, so that is also something. If people are dying less, that means population is going to increase. Okay, now rapid increase in death rate. If death rate is increasing, that means lot of people are dying. So this is going to cause less amount of population. Okay. Now next thing, increase in the number of people in the reproducible age. If people are there who are there in the reproducible age and the number is way too much, obviously they will reproduce and they will give rise to more offsprings. So this will also lead to population increase. So which are the things which would lead to human population explosion, my dear children? This, this and this. So except third, everything is correct. So third should not be there. So third should not, in this option third is there. Okay, in this 1 and 2 is the only thing. I want 1, 2 and 4 is not only, right? 1, 2 and 4 should be there, then it will be correct. 1, 2 and 4 is there over here, so I say this is the option. Again 3 is there, so I can eliminate this. So this becomes the answer. Cool? Easy, no? Chalo. Next thing, which of the following sexually transmitted diseases is not completely curable? Okay, so there are 3 sexually transmitted diseases which are not completely curable. You would have it throughout your lifetime. What are those diseases? So over here, gonorrhea is given, genital warts is given, genital herpes is given, chlamydiasis is given. Do you know which one is this? I'll tell you. So the 3 of them basically has an H in it. Okay, it is hepatitis B, herpes and HIV AIDS. So actually it is genital herpes, which is why I gave a space. So 3 of them has an H in it. 3 of them basically are not some disease that could be cured. You will be having it throughout your lifetime. Okay, you would be having it throughout your lifetime. Now basically you would be given some immunodeficient drugs, such that your body, not immunodeficient drugs, basically something that would help your immune system fight back, okay, against a lot of things. So you would be having those drugs throughout your lifetime, which is how you might be sustaining through it. So these are the diseases which are not completely curable. In that, I see genital herpes has come as an option. So I'd say this is the answer. This came in March 2023. Works. Cool. I hope you're understanding, children. Please, one more very important thing. So I want you to actively participate in the class. I always say so. I do not know why you do not take it seriously. Okay, so please take it seriously. Please participate. This is really good. Whenever I see you participate, I become all the more happy. Okay, and I become enthusiastic. If I am enthusiastic, then it becomes a lot more. I will talk about a lot of things. You get it? Teacher also is a human being. So they also have emotions. So when you guys are not interacting, we feel bored. Okay, so we might also not talk too much, even though we might deliver everything that is needed, but that will be a boring way of having a conversation. So if I see you excited, just like me, I would also talk a lot more about the important things, not random things. Okay, so that is there. So I want your participation. So before every time, whenever I show you a question, tell me the answer by yourself. I want to see how far you have come with your own preparation, and then check your answers with me. That will be really, really great. I do not mind if your answers are wrong also. I mind your efforts. So put your efforts. I will consider that. Cool. Let's go ahead. Chalo, next. An example for non-medicated IUD. Tell. What is an example for non-medicated IUD? What do you mean by IUD? IUD means intrauterine device. Intrauterine device. You put it inside the uterus. That's why it is intra. Okay, you put it inside the uterus, and basically this particular thing is non-medicated, as in it is not going to release any medicines or such that. So IUDs have different types. Then one is non-medicated, one is copper releasing, other one is hormone releasing. So the one that is non-medicated is what? Copper T. Copper T releases copper. Lipase loop is there. LNG20 is there. LNG20 is responsible for basically releasing hormones. Okay, it is responsible for releasing hormones. Multiload 375, again I think it is copper releasing only, as far as I remember. Yes, I have confused. Okay, anyways, I have to check. So anyways, so we have multiload 375 is copper releasing, but I'll just check and come. Okay, I don't want you to get confused by any chance. Okay, yes, so I was correct. It is copper releasing only, so there's a confusion. It happens. So how do I remember it is that basically, children, so it is multi-load 375, right? So 375 square millimeters of copper is being coiled around. So that is how the name came, that is multi-load 375. So this is again copper releasing. So 2 of them are copper releasing, one is hormone releasing, and this lipase loop that you see over here, that is a non-medicated IUD. So how does it work, ma'am? If it is not releasing anything inside the uterus, basically it is going to act like a foreign particle. Now in our body, some foreign particle enters. What will our body do? Our body will try to fight. Right, so over here you will be seeing swelling in the inner lining and stuff. Not swelling, basically there will be certain changes in the inner lining of the uterus, which would make it really unsuitable for any kind of implantation to take place. Okay, so there will be so many cells that would be there for fighting things. So it is not going to cause any trouble in general, but it is going to make the uterus really unsuitable for implantation to take place. So this is the answer. What is the answer? It is lipase loop. Okay. Now next, the assisted reproductive technologies in which a sperm is directly injected into the ovum is. Over here you have the ovum, and with the help of a pipette sort of thing under the microscope. I have seen it, okay. When I went to an IVF clinic for my internship, I saw it. So with the help of a micropipette sort of thing, they kind of insert the sperm inside the nucleus, okay, inside, not the nucleus, inside the ovum, okay, inside the ovum. This procedure over here, you are going to put it inside the cytoplasm. You are going to put it inside the cytoplasm, right? So over here, I will call it intracytoplasmic. Intracytoplasmic. What are you putting? Sperm. How are you putting? You are injecting it. So it is known as intracytoplasmic sperm injection. ICSI. What do you call it? Intracytoplasmic sperm injection, or you call it as ICSI. Now this is a very nice procedure that happens. Okay, kind of costly also. So yes. Now, which of the following is an IUD? Again, intrauterine device. So vaults, diaphragm, all of them basically they are coming under what barrier methods? There are another contraceptive methods, but not this. Saheli is a pill, okay, which has different level of hormones, which is being used to disrupt the normal hormonal level in our body. So that is also not thing. IUD, over here we have LNG20. That is an example of IUD. It is inserted, okay, it is going to release synthetic progesterone. So inside our body we have progesterone being released, but the synthetic form of it is being released with the help of LNG20. Okay, and when something is in too much amount, what happens? In normal amount it will help in a lot of things, but if it is in too much amount, it is going to disrupt a lot of other things as well. So its overproduction causes a lot of problems. So this is synthetic progesterone which is being used over here in LNG20. So this is an IUD's example. This is a pill. This, both of them basically they come under barrier method. Okay, that is another contraceptive method. IUD is something else. Next, menstrual cycle does not occur during intense lactation. It is due to what? Menstrual cycle, okay. So the couple who recently had a baby, if you have seen, okay, if the mother is lactating, at this point of time, the mother would not be having menstrual cycle. At this point of time, when the mother is actively lactating, breastfeeding, she would not be having the menstrual cycle. Why is that so? Because what happens in her body, the level of prolactin, there is a hormone that is being increased. From a pituitary gland, there is a hormone that is being released which is known as prolactin. Now prolactin will go and inhibit. It goes and inhibit, you show inhibition by like this. Inhibits the secretion of GnRH, which is gonadotropin releasing hormone. What is it? Gonadotropin releasing hormone. So this is being released by hypothalamus, but now it is not being released. And this guy usually when it is being released, it goes and tells the pituitary to release FSH and LH. And you know, if LH is there, that's when ovulation and everything happens, and also FSH is there, that's when follicles will be made, right? So obviously this both of things would be stopped since secretion over here, it is being inhibited. Okay, so menstrual cycle does not occur during intense lactation. It is due to what? Inhibition of what? LH, inhibition of oxytocin, inhibition of PRL, inhibition of progesterone. No, I will say inhibition of what? LH. So this is getting inhibited, that means this is also getting inhibited some ways, right? So this is the reason why menstrual cycle is basically not occurring during intense lactation. Please remember it. Okay, and this is known as, what do you call this procedure as? Tell me. This is a natural way of contraception, and what do you call it? You call this as, I will give you a clue. It starts from L and the other one starts from A. LA, what is it? You tell me in the comment section, I will be telling you after the 10th question. Okay, so coitus must be avoided during day 10 to day 17 of menstrual cycle. What do you mean by coitus? Coitus means sexual intercourse. So sexual intercourse must be avoided from day 10 to day 17 of menstrual cycle. What is the reason for that? So from our cycle usually it's of 28 days. If you make the half of 28, it becomes 14. Usually, suppose this is the day of menstruation. If you go back and see on the 14th day, probably there might be a chance that ovulation might have taken place. That means the release of the ovum has taken place over here on the 14th day. But for some people it can shift to either of the days. It can come over here day 10 to day 17. It's kind of a risk period. It is kind of a risk period. What do you call this period as? Fertile period. So during this point of time, people who want to conceive a baby, they can have sexual intercourse. So if you avoid it, it will be a lot more better. Why? Because ovulation would have taken place. If ovulation has taken place, that means ovum release might have taken place. If ovum is there and if someone is having coitus, the sperms and the ovum would come and fuse. What will happen? fertilization will happen, zygote will be formed, embryo will be formed, the baby will be formed. So which is why it is said that during 10 to 17 days of the menstrual cycle, it is better to avoid the coitus. Okay, to avoid the coitus. Cool. So sperms remain viable for 7 days. That is not a reason. Ovum may be available for fertilization. Ovum loses viability on these days. None of this. So ovum will maybe available for fertilization, which is why it is said that you should not be having coitus during this particular point of time. Works. Chal, next. Condoms have additional benefit as compared to other contraceptives because. So condom is generally said to be the best contraceptive. Why is it so? Why is it so? What additional benefit does it have? So condoms are of different types. You have female condom, you have male condom. Okay, so male condom is for, basically this is the penis. It is used for covering the penis. Okay, and in the case of females, suppose this is the uterus. Over here you have the vagina. So in the case of females, there might be a thing like this, a ring sort of thing like this, and there might be a sheet like this. So during coitus, what happens? Basically this is being inserted. Just give excuse me, I'm so sorry. Yes. So basically during coitus, what happens? Over here, this ring shaped thing is being inserted. This is a condom, and inside that the penis would be later inserted. So over here, what is the additional benefit that you can see? What is the additional benefit? Basically, whatever secretion is being put down by the penis over here, and whatever secretion is there in the female genital tract, is it reaching either of the organs? Okay, here you will be having the female reproductive tract. Okay, this guy is not going outside. This thing is not getting inside also. So you see, the fluids are not being mixed. Genital fluids are not being mixed. The body fluids are not being mixed. And if genital fluids are not being mixed, that means you are protecting yourself from what? STDs. Sexually transmitted diseases or sexually transmitted infections. So that is an additional benefit of what? Condom. So all the barrier methods, not all of them, basically condom is the best way. You have vault and everything like that, where you are putting, for example, in the case of diaphragm, balls and stuff like that, what happens? There is cervix over here. Inside the cervix, you are putting a cap like structure, but still the penis is over here. It can release the sperm. Okay, so the fluids are being exchanged, so that is also a problem. But over here in the case of what? Basically this thing that is condom, it will be protecting against STIs. Cool? Works? Chalo, next. There, okay, I told you about that one. Okay, what do you mean by LA? That is when a mother who is lactating intensely, if she does not have menstrual cycle, what do you call this particular procedure as? You call this as lactational amenorrhea. Okay, lactational amenorrhea as in menstrual cycle is not there, absence of menstrual cycle. Chalo. There is a statutory ban on amniocentesis as. What do you mean by amniocentesis, children? Amniocentesis, what do you mean by that? Basically, inside the mother's womb, okay, the baby is there, suppose. This is not how the baby looks, but yeah, okay. Over here, it might be inside a sac which is known as amniotic sac. Okay, so listen to me very carefully. There is a fluid over here which you call as amniotic fluid. And inside that, some of its cells might be just freely roaming around. Some of its cells might be just freely there. Now these cells, which are being shut down from the embryo's body, the fluid has been taken, along with it comes the cell. And in the cell, what happens? Basically, you have the nucleus. Inside the nucleus, you have the DNA and everything. That is being examined for understanding any genetic disorders. But since you already have a look of your genetic material, you can also determine the sex of the child. Right. Now, what happened? Usually it was used for finding the genetic disorders, but people started using it for knowing the sex of the child. And if it is a girl child, what they did female feticide. They killed the baby child. okay, just because it was a girl. So this was a very big problem, which is why a ban was put on it. So there is a statutory ban on amniocentesis as what? It reveals the chromosomal anomalies? No, it is not because it reveals the chromosomal anomalies that it was banned. No, that is a correct reason, but it is not banned because of that. It can be used for determining the sex of the unborn. This was the reason. This was the reason why the ban was being put. It can be used to reverse the sex of the fetus, no. It can be used for correcting genetic disorders of the fetus, no, my dear children. This is the answer. Cool. Next, select the options with correct identification of the given contraceptive measure and the hormone essentially present in it. So over here, what do you see this? This is a hand, okay, and they are holding certain structures like this, pin-like structures. What do you call these structures as? It is implant. It is what? Implant. And this implant are being put under the skin, and it will be releasing what? Progesterone or progesterone or estrogen combination. So I told you, in a normal level of hormonal level it is okay, but when it is way too much, they might inhibit ovulation, and if ovulation is inhibited, that means no ovum is being released. If no ovum is being released, I cannot say that fertilization will happen. You get it? So subcutaneous implant is the thing that you can see over here. It is put under the skin, and that is how it works. So this becomes the answer. It is not intramuscular implant, nothing like that. Cool. Shall we go to the next question? So a lady is 8 weeks pregnant. Various tests done confirm that if her child is born, it would suffer from serious illness. What is the best suggested option in this case? So she is 8 weeks pregnant. What do you mean by 8 weeks pregnant? So in a month there are 4 weeks. In another month there are 4 weeks. So 4 into 4. 4, sorry, not 4 into 4. 4 plus 4, it is 8. So you're talking about a 2-month-old baby. And you saw that the baby has some serious illness. So even if it is born, it might be leading to death later on. So what is the best thing that could be suggested? Amniocentesis is to be performed. That is the way how you understood that probably has a serious illness, probably, or with ultrasonography, whatever. Okay. Anyways, this is not a way. Emergency contraceptive pills to be taken. This is for avoiding pregnancy. Pregnancy have already been taken place. MTP to be performed. What do you mean by MTP? MTP means medical termination of pregnancy. Medical termination of pregnancy. Next, tubectomy is to be performed. Is it for that? No, children. Tubectomy is a contraceptive thing. Okay, so it is not going to be that as well. Okay, tubectomy prevents the movement of ovum. Transport of ovum, just like how you had vasectomy. Similarly, again it is a contraceptive thing. Now this is the way MTP has to be performed. You have to terminate the pregnancy because that child's birth could be a big problem later on. Anyways, that person or basically the child has a serious illness. So it is 2 months, so it is fine. Okay, it can go up to 3 months also. Within 3 months, medical termination of pregnancy, MTP is totally fine. Beyond that, it could risk both the mother and the child. Okay, both the mother and the child. So it should be within 3 months that MTP has to be done. Okay, you call it induced abortion as well. What do you call it? You call this induced abortion. This is not natural. You're inducing abortion. Cool. Next, which of the following contraceptive devices is having a common mechanism of action? So which of them would be having a common mechanism of action? Walls and condoms. Basically, both of them are going to act as a barrier method where the sperm and the egg would not be meeting. It will be acting as a barrier. CUT and multi-load. CUT and multi-load, both of them, multi-load 375, remember, multi-load 375, both of them we are releasing, going to release what? Copper. So these both have the same function. They are going to release copper. And what does copper do, my dear children? Inside the body, inside the uterus, if I am putting a copper T, it's like a T-shaped structure, okay, and it is coiled by copper. So what does this do? Basically, the copper ions which are being released, no, if some sperm gets in, okay, it will reduce the motility of the sperm. It will kind of pull back the sperm. So that's how I remember. So basically, it reduces the motility of the sperm, the movement of the sperm. There might be some changes that is happening. If the movement of the sperm has been reduced, obviously it won't be able to go and fertilize it as well. So this is CUT or multi-load. They are both copper releasing intrauterine device, IUD. Progesta cert and cervical cap. Cervical cap is something that is going to act like a barrier. Progesta cert is again a pill, it can be anything else. Okay, malady and lipase loop, again not an option, so this becomes an option, okay, which is correct. Next, if a female has rudimentary ovary but can provide a suitable environment for the growth of the fetus, the art technique that can be used is. Okay, so over here there's some problem with the ovary. The ovary probably might not be producing enough amount of ovum, or not producing ovum at all. Rudimentary as in it is not working properly, okay, but can provide a suitable environment. It is providing a suitable environment for the growth of the fetus. Okay, it is not producing the ovum, it is not able to produce what? The female gamete. The female gamete is not being produced, but suitable environment is being provided, okay, for the growth of the fetus. Then what technique can be used? What technique can be used? So since suitable environment can be provided, I can basically give the gamete. I can give the gamete. If she is not able to produce the gamete, I can give the gamete. So what do you call this procedure as? You call this as gamete intra-fallopian transfer. Gamete intra-fallopian transfer, or you call it as a gift. So this is a gift to the lady who is not producing gametes, but basically can provide the suitable environment for the growth of the baby or the fetus. So gamete is given. Okay, now another male gamete comes and fuses. Okay, it leads to fertilization, and then it forms zygote, then an embryo. Embryo will come in the uterus and complete its formation over there. So gift is the answer for this particular question. Okay, next. So 1 marker question, which is fill in the blanks question, have come. So it's time to use your brain. Statutory ban on dash is required to check increasing female feticides. So what should be done? What should be banned for? To checking what? For checking increasing female feticides. Feticides as in the death rate of the female child. So what has to be banned, children? Amniocentesis. We just discussed now. So this becomes the answer. Next. Dash make the uterus unsuitable for implantation and the cervix hostile to the sperm. So what is that something that will make the uterus unsuitable and also cervix hostile to sperm? So these both terms comes together, no? Always remember, these both terms comes together in one type of IUD, intrauterine device. And what is that type of IUD? Hormone releasing IUD. This hormone releasing IUD. Cool? So this becomes your answer. Next. Okay, now comes the 2 marker questions. Mention the 2 medical grounds on which pregnancy are subjected to termination. Okay, so you have to tell me 2 different conditions when it is okay to undergo medical termination of pregnancy. So one condition is when it will be difficult for the mother. Okay, it is going to cause some trouble to the mother, or basically I can say when there is I can say when, basically unprotected coitus has happened. Okay, it can be unwillingly also, such as during rapes and conditions like that, which is totally disgusting. Okay, at that point of time it is okay, or when the fetus who is there is having a serious illness. So that's when basically there is a chance for subjection to termination of the pregnancy. So what is the answer? The 2 medical grounds on which pregnancies are subject to termination as per Medical Termination Act are risk to the mother's health. If continuing the pregnancy poses a risk to the physical or mental health of the mother. Second, risk of the fetal abnormality. If there is a substantial risk that the fetus may be born with physical or mental abnormalities, making it incompatible with life. That's when also please write unprotected unwilling coitus, like rapes. Okay, that will be more correct of this. This is the correct only. So this is you can frame your answers like this. Please understand, you have to write your answers in points and underline wherever it is necessary. If you are not underlining, you are not going to showcase your answers. If you are not showcasing, that becomes a big problem. Next, what are emergency contraceptives? Write their hormonal combination. So emergency contraceptives again are being used when there is an unprotected coitus that has taken place. It could be because of rape or anything like that, and now obviously you do not want to conceive or fertilization to happen. So in this basically they have to take pills, Okay, they have to take pills which shows their action within 72 hours, which would be showing their action within 72 hours. So this has to be taken really fast. So emergency contraceptives are pills used to prevent pregnancy after unprotected sexual intercourse or contraceptive failure. They are intended for use within a short window, usually 72 hours. So they had to be taken usually between 72 hours after the event. Administration of progestrogens or progesterone estrogen combination or IUDs. This is the emergency contraceptive pill, basically anything. Administration of what? Progesterone or basically progestrogen estrogen combination or basically IUDs together. So but usually you go for this. This is taken from your NCERT, the line. So please remember progesterone or progesterone estrogen combination. That will be the best thing that you can do. This acts like an emergency contraceptive. So during unprotected sex within 72 hours, if this is taken, then probably fertilization would not be happening. Cool. Now, what is infertility? Give reasons for infertility in humans. What do you mean by infertility? If I say the couple is infertile, that means they are not able to produce offsprings. Even during sexual, even after having sexual intercourse, they are not able to conceive a child. That is what you mean by infertility. Okay, and the reasons for it could be several. Okay, smoking is a reason, during mental health conditions could be a reason, physical health conditions could be a reason. Okay, so over here infertility is defined as the inability to produce children by couples in spite of unprotected sexual cohabitation. Okay, so they are having unprotected sexual intercourse, still they are not able to produce child, a fetus. The reasons of infertility could be physical, congenital. What do you mean by congenital? That means genetical. Okay, it could be certain diseases, it could be certain drugs that they are taking, immunological or basically psychological, mentally also there could be reasons. So all of this thing, you know, you have to be mentally very strong, physically very strong for conception to happen. Okay, it's not always true, but yes. It is not always true, but yes, it definitely plays a major role. And also because of smoking and stuff like that, for other drugs that other drugs as in not the drugs that you're talking about, like weed, drugs as in medicines also, certain medicines also have certain effects. Okay, so that is also there. So this is the causes or basically reasons of infertility, and this is what you mean by infertility. Cool. So next question. What are the features of an ideal contraceptive? Mention the natural methods of contraception. What do you mean by ideal contraceptive? Ideal contraceptive as in, what is a perfect contraceptive that can be used during sexual intercourse to prevent the pregnancy? Basically, it should not be coming in between the sexual desires of of two people. Okay, that should be one thing. Second thing, it should be very easy to use. It should not be very difficult. Third thing, it should be easily available. Okay, it should not be something that I have to pay so much money. But if there is something that I have to pay too much money, obviously the population might go wrong, because there are not everyone who is very rich in this country, right? So obviously not everyone can afford, so it should be cheap also. That has to be maintained. Okay, so these are the few things. Apart from that, there are a lot of, so it should be user friendly, should be easily available, effective and reversible. Yeah, it should be reversible. The effects should be reversible. For example, a person is not wanting to conceive as of now, but later they want to. So these condoms and everything that is being used, it should be reversible, right? I can remove it, and later whenever I want to have a baby, probably can have sexual intercourse without the need of it. So that should be a reversible thing. Okay, now should not interfere with the sexual desire and sexual act of the user. Okay, now what you have to just mention the natural methods of contraception. This is the first method of contraception. Natural methods, with our body itself, basically we are not taking any chemical, we are not doing anything. Okay, we are relying on our body for basically preventing pregnancy. So first thing is periodic abstinence. What do you mean by periodic abstinence? That is when I told you, when people avoid to have coitus between 10 to 17 days of what? Menstrual cycle. Okay, this is known as the fertile period. So during this point of time, if basically sexual intercourse is being avoided, then that means it's all good. Now withdrawal method or coitus interruptus. What do you mean by withdrawal method? So over here, during sexual act, okay, before the release of the sperm, the male partner is removing the external genital organ or the penis from the female's body and releasing the sperm outside. So this is known as withdrawal method, withdrawing of the genital organ. It is also known as coitus interruptus because you are interrupting the sexual act. Okay, so that is also natural method. Third thing, lactational amenorrhea, where the lactating mother would not be having menstrual cycle. There is no menstrual cycle. Will there be production of ovum? No. If there is no ovum being produced, will there be fertilization? No. So this is going to act like a contraceptive method. So these are the three methods of natural contraception. Cool? Works? So please remember all of these things. They can come in different marks. So have your things clear. Now we are going to enter the 3 marker questions, my dear children. The popular and the effective contraceptives include IUDs. Okay, that is intrauterine devices. Mention the type of IUDs with an example. Okay, with an example of each. Okay, so the popular and effective contraceptive include IUDs. So different types of IUDs, I told you there are different types. One is non-medicated. Okay, for example, you're talking about lipase loop. Over here, this is just a foreign thing in the uterus. If something foreign gets into your body, obviously your body will be producing something else, certain cells to fight back this thing, which makes the uterus unsuitable, oh my god, which language am I writing? Okay. Unsuitable for what? For implantation. Cool. That is one thing. Second thing, copper releasing. We have copper releasing IUDs. What do they do? Copper releasing IUD example is CUT copper T, or you have multi-load 375. They basically mess up with the sperm motility. So the copper ions which are being released, they will make the sperm really less motile. If the sperm is motile, will it be able to go and fertilize the egg? So that is a problem. Apart from that, they also make the uterus unsuitable, but this is the major function. Then you have hormone releasing IUD. For example, you have LNG. No, do not go write LPG, okay? It is LNG. LPG is a gas. So I did that is why I am telling you. I know I made a big blunder. Why not blunder? Oh my god, something has happened to me. So LNG20, it's a hormone releasing. So hormone, listen, we have a normal level of progesterone which helps in fertilization to happen, or basically in maintaining the endometrium. Not fertilization to happen, it helps in implantation to happen. Okay, when the zygote is being formed, embryo is being formed, this embryo has to come embed into the endometrial layer, the innermost layer of the uterus, and there it will continue its formation. So for that endometrium layer to sustain, progesterone is a very important hormone that is being released. But if the level of progesterone is way too much, all this gets disrupted. So they will not allow the endometrium to have a proper lining over there. They would not allow ovulation to take place. Ovulation means the ovum is not being released. So that is also a problem. They will also make the cervix hostile. What do you mean by cervix? So basically over here, if this is the uterus, you have a region. So this is the vagina. Over here you have a region which you call as what? Cervix. So it makes the cervix hostile. How? Because it kinds of make a mucus plug over here. There is a mucus plug over here, a plug made of mucus. So it does not allow the sperms to kind of enter. So these are the different things done by hormone releasing IUD. What do? Basically, they mess up with the endometrium lining. Okay, so they make uterus unsuitable for implantation, and they make the cervix hostile to sperm. Cool? Works? So this is the answer. Intrauterine devices are popular contraceptives inserted into the uterus to prevent pregnancy. They are classified into 3 major types. Okay. First is non-medicated. Write the example, lipase loop. These are simple inert devices, as in they are not going to release anything. Okay. That prevents sperm from reaching the egg by creating a physical barrier in the uterus. Now, by creating a physical barrier in the uterus, or basically we can say that they are going to make certain changes in the body that does not allow implantation to happen. Copper releasing IUD, copper T or copper 7, or basically the one that I said, multi-load 375. Okay, these IUDs release copper ions into the uterus, which are toxic to the sperm, reducing their motility and viability. This prevents fertilization. Instead of copper 7, I will be writing multi-load 375. Cool. Now, hormone releasing IUD, you have LNG20 and Progestasert. Both of them, they are going to release synthetic. It is not normal, let's say the human made, the synthetic version of progesterone. Okay, these IUDs release hormones like progesterone or levonorgestrel, which thicken cervical mucus to block sperm entry, inhibits ovulation, and make the uterine lining unsuitable for implantation. So everything that I said is there over here. So you have to write in this way properly, underline important things like this. Cool? Chalo. Next, suggest 3 simple principles through which we can prevent sexually transmitted diseases. How can we prevent sexually transmitted diseases? This is very important for children like you. Can you tell? First thing, avoid having multiple partners. Lots of people have lots of diseases, you never know. So avoid having multiple partners. Second, do not ever do unprotected sexual act. Okay? And have enough amount of knowledge also. Okay, please, whenever you are, okay, if you are a person who is not aware of a lot of things, do not go into it. That will be the most better option. And also, basically there are people who have drugs at this age also, intravenous drugs, which uses needles and everything. Now, needle is something that goes inside our body, has blood around it when it gets inside our body, and if other person is also using the same needle, basically you are going to pass on a disease to your friend. Now, when you do that, you carry that disease for the rest of your life, and you never know. So basically, you should not be doing it. So just 3 simple principles through which we can prevent sexually transmitted diseases. So needle thing is basically, it should not be coming under sexually transmitted diseases, but sexually transmitted diseases are the ones that goes through the body fluids. But over here, since sexually transmitted diseases is being mentioned, I would recommend you, first thing is basically unprotected sex. You should not be having that. The this thing, I forgot that thing. What is it? Monogamous relation, as in you should not be having multiple partners, and then you should be having enough amount of knowledge also. Okay, so that is there. So here are 3 simple principles to prevent sexually transmitted diseases. Practice safe sex. Always use condoms during sexual intercourse to reduce the risk of STD transmission. Maintain monogamous relationship. Monogamous is, that means having one particular partner. Engage in mutually faithful relationship with an uninfected partner. Avoid sharing needles. Do not share needles or syringes, as they can transport infections like what? Transmit infection like HIV and hepatitis. As you know, they are not curable. So these steps emphasize protection, responsibility and hygiene. Apart from that, children, you can focus on having enough knowledge about things, and also deal with professionals. Okay, so they would be guiding you better regarding these things. Do not go and do anything that you think is risky. It's going to change your life. Now, next question. What is contraception? Briefly explain 2 barrier methods and 2 surgical methods to prevent the contraception. Contraception means basically I am avoiding what? Pregnancy. Contraception is a method by which there can be avoidance of what? Pregnancy. Okay. Now, 2 barrier methods you have to explain, 2 surgical methods you have to explain. I'll start with surgical methods. One is vasectomy and the other one is tubectomy. I already explained about vasectomy, where what are you cutting, children? You are going to cut the vas deferens. Okay, you are going to cut the vas deferens, which is an accessory duct in the case of males. This is an accessory duct, that means a road which could transport what? The sperm. So if I am cutting that road off, obviously the sperm movement would be there. So in their body will sperm release take place? In their body will sperm formation take place? Sperm formation will definitely take place. But in the semen, will you find sperm? No. Okay, so if sperm is not there in the semen, obviously fertilization is not going to happen. Now tubectomy is another such procedure, which is, this is in man and this is in woman. Over here, what is being cut down? If you have seen the structure of the female reproductive system, it looks somewhat like this. Okay, this is the ovary which releases the ovum moves through this. Okay, and here is where fertilization happens. What is this region known as? This is ampulla, this is the infundibulum, this whole region is infundibulum, and this is isthmus. So this is where basically the fertilization takes place. The sperm comes over here until this particular region. What if I cut the fallopian tube? What if I cut the fallopian tube and I tie it up? If I cut the fallopian tube and I tie it up, what happens? Basically the transport of sperm does not take place. So this is again a surgical method where I am going to insert these things and going to cut and things like that. Do you think it is reversible? Can I reverse this? No. This is an irreversible procedure, my dear children. This is an irreversible procedure. This is known as tubectomy, where I am cutting the fallopian tube. Here I am cutting the vas deferens. Cool. So here also the ovum is being released, but it is not getting transported. They kind of degenerate. Now, barrier method, the one famous barrier method is condom, which is going to act like a physical barrier, which can be inserted on the venous or basically on the female, genital tract, that is the vaginal region, and it won't be allowing the sperm and the ovum to meet. Apart from that, you have diaphragm. Okay, which can be put over here. So okay, there are caps. There are cervical caps. There are cervical caps which can be put on the cervix, such that, for example, the penis is inserted over here, the sperm does not go ahead. Okay, so these are the two barrier methods. So over here, they didn't ask you the natural methods, no, they ask you the, I don't know why I have written, okay, that's the problem that I made. I think they asked about two natural methods, but in the question they have wrote it different. Anyways, what is contraception? So, contraception is a method which is useful to control childbirth and unwanted pregnancy. Okay, contraception is a method which is used to control childbirth and unwanted pregnancy. This is known as contraception. Okay, now if you are asked to briefly explain surgical method, this is how you have to do it. Talk about tubectomy, underline it. Talk about vasectomy, underline it. It is a female sterilization technique in which both the fallopian tubes are cut and a small part of the fallopian tube is removed or tied up through a small incision. So the small incision is made and then the thing is being done. Okay, incision as in the small cut is being made and then this particular procedure is being done. A part of the fallopian tube is removed or tied up through a small incision in the abdomen or through the vagina. So in the abdomen it can be done, or through the vagina also this can be done with the help of proper care. Okay. Now these techniques are highly effective, but their reversibility is very poor. In vasectomy, it's a male sterilization technique in which both the vas deferens tubes, okay, are cut and small part of the vas deferens is removed or tied up through a small incision on basically what? The scrotum. It prevents the transmission of what? The sperms. So both of them are going to prevent the transmission of, or basically transport of sperms, not transmission, transport of sperm and the ovum. Now if you are asked about barrier method, what do you have to explain? You can talk about condom, and you can talk about cervical caps. So condom acts like a barrier. It is inserted on the penis or vagina and basically what? Acts like a barrier between what? Between sperm and ova. Okay, cervical cap, basically it is inserted on the cervix, and again it also acts like a barrier between the sperm and the ova. Okay, so if you want the answer for that, you can tell me, I can put it down in the comment section, I will frame the answer for you. Okay, now natural method, if the question was of natural method, you can talk about periodic abstinence, you can talk about withdrawal method, we will read that also. Anyways, we have come so far. So it is one such method in which couples avoid or abstain from coitus during day 10 to 17 of menstrual cycle when ovulation could be expected, that is the fertile period. As chances of fertilization are very high during this period, it is known as fertile period. Now withdrawal the coitus interruptus, the conception could be prevented by withdrawal method or coitus interruptus, in which the male partner withdraws his penis from the vagina just before ejaculation to avoid insemination. Insemination as in basically transport of sperm into the female tract, and ejaculation means release of sperms. Okay. works, cool, all good. So that's all. With that, we have completed all the questions. If you have query regarding any other concept of this particular chapter, feel really free to ask me in the comment section. I would be gladly helping you out about in that particular case. Okay. Also, children, if you think that I could not explain you any concepts well, please tell me in the comment section. I will be explaining that. If you think that you like this video, then also tell me that. That is also kind of very important. If you didn't like the video, then also you tell me that. Okay. So that is the thing. And also, please go through GIFT, all the techniques, art techniques, GIFT and everything. I will only tell you. Okay. GIFT, GIFT and things like that. What do you mean by ZIFT? ZIFT means zygote intrafallopian transfer. Zygote intrafallopian transfer. So this is where the zygote is being made in the laboratory condition. After that, the zygote is being put. The zygote is being put inside where? Inside the fallopian tube. Inside the fallopian tube, where it will continue its, basically it will be continuing its journey there. And there is one more thing that is known as ET. ET stands for embryo transfer. ET stands for embryo transfer, where the zygote has now divided and formed an embryo, and you are going to transfer this embryo into either the fallopian tube or the uterus. If you are transferring it into the fallopian tube, then it has to be almost 8 blastomere cell stage. Before, it should be up to 8 blastomere, not after that. It should not be more than that. Okay, it can be put into the uterus if it is more than 8 blastomeres. This is embryo transfer. Now, there was a procedure that was known as GIFT. Okay, GIFT basically means you are going to transport the gamete. So, for example, some female is not able to form the gamete itself. So, you are going to transport gamete in there. The gamete and the gamete if we have put, and if the normal sexual intercourse has happened, the sperm will come and fuse, and then the things will be happening naturally inside the female body. Inside the female body, fertilization is happening. Over here, fertilization, in both these techniques, fertilization is happening outside the body. Okay, please remember that. And then what? And then you have okay, intrauterine transfer also means the same thing. Okay, intrauterine means you are going to insert it inside the uterus. Intrauterine transfer, it can be ET or basically zygote in anything. Now, apart from that, you had something like artificial insemination. You had artificial insemination, where insemination, basically transport of sperm is happening artificially with the help of a pipette or something like that. You are going to insert the sperm inside the female body. So there might be a case where the male is able to produce sperms, but probably because of certain reasons, okay, certain reasons it is not getting transported, probably due to erectile dysfunction or things like that. At that point of time, the sperms are taken and then artificially it is inseminated. Okay, it is being transported inside the female body. That is artificial insemination. Then you have something that is known as ICSI, where basically what you are doing, you have the ovum. This happens over here also. ICSI happens over here also. That is in the laboratory condition, where you are putting the sperm inside the ovum. This is known as intracytoplasmic sperm injection. You are putting the sperm inside the cytoplasm of the ovum. So that is one big thing. Okay. Apart from this, what was there? Artificial insemination, ICSI, GIFT. Am I forgetting anything? If there's something, let me know. Okay, I'll clear it up. This is what I remember. ICSI, GIFT, ZIFT. Please remember the numbers over here: 8 blastomeres, fertilization, artificial insemination, ICSI, and then all of them, they basically come under what? ART. What do you mean by ART? ART means assisted reproductive technology. Okay, you are assisting the process of what? Reproduction, which is why it is known as assisted reproductive technology. So that is also there. All of this comes under that. So that's all, my dear children. I won't go ahead. I think I've completed everything in this particular chapter, and I've given you repeated questions that also come. I just wanted you to remember these terms also, because it could come in MCQs as well. We never know. Okay. And now the PU2 success blueprint test series, I hope you all are aware of that. Lots of people have already registered, so kudos to you guys. And people who are still there, who are confused what to do, I'll recommend you to join. Okay, you can enroll with a fees of $599. What do you get over here? You will be having Pakka test series, which is starting from 15th of December. There's a schedule being posted already, or you might be getting it really soon. Okay, so people who have registered would be getting through the WhatsApp community. There will be 12 mock tests. Okay, it would include the subjects like physics, chemistry and mathematics, and probably biology as well. Okay, biology and computer science is there as a what's the additional thing that is there. Okay, you would be getting it for sure, but we are thinking of including biology in the part test also, so that most of you can take extra advantage of this. Okay, so that is there. And there will be video solution videos also, so you don't have to be worried about, okay, I've just given the test but I have to clarify my answers. You can get it there. There will be doubt clarification classes as well if you need so. So that is all about the PU2 success blueprint test series. It's there, the link is there in the description box. Go check it out. It will be really important. Yeah. And if you think that this particular video was really helpful for you, then I would recommend you to subscribe to our channel and also put down your sweet little comments. Would love to read that. Okay, and if you have any doubt, as I already said, you have to ask me the doubt in the comment section. I'll be replying it to you personally. That's my promise. I'll keep my promise. Works? So that's all, my dear children. Bye bye. Take care and have a good day.